Good evening, everyone. It's your worst nightmare and dream come true. I'm Adrian Hallowell, broadcasting live to you. And, here we are. I am, ready but not ready to finish Resident Evil Requiem. That is the push and pull of, waiting so long for a very, very good video game. You want to just play through it as fast as you can, but then you hate when it's over. You get that post-game hangover where you, are suffering because you know that nothing is going to be able to make up for the loss of what you just experienced, and so you desperately replay it to try and recoup that feeling, right? But yes, we should be able to finish this game, to my understanding. At least my chat was telling me by the end of last stream that I've got about maybe 45 minutes left of this game, so I anticipate that we will probably complete it by the end of today's stream. And I guess we'll do a lot of talking about my thoughts on everything. So far, when we last left off, I was stunned because I had just finished a boss battle with Hunk, which was something that I really didn't see coming. That blew my mind. I was definitely at a loss for words when I got through that part. This game has been surprising me on every front. I feel like I might have missed some stuff, but I'm not entirely sure. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I've been thinking about this game so much, and I have so much to say regarding the story, but I want to wait until it's over yet. Yeah, people are super angry about it, but I think it was done in a good way. Me too. I think so too. I was laughing because one thing I did see, because I've been trying to avoid spoilers, but I did, I went to the Resident Evil wiki to see if the people that managed that changed Hunk's status to deceased, and when I looked it up on Google, I did see a Reddit thread where somebody was like, Hunk is the biggest fraud in Resident Evil, because he's been hyped up all this time and Leon just kicked his ass. I thought that was hilarious, but no, but I liked it, and honestly, I thought it was a fitting end, and honestly the perfect character to defeat him, to be honest. Not to say it couldn't have been Chris or, you know, Jill or somebody else, but I feel like Leon was a perfect person to have that fight with him. I really liked that. It's funny, there's a Resident Evil fan game that had a similar kind of fight between the protagonist and Hunk. But yeah, being honest, Hunk could solo all the main RE cast except Leon. Yeah, honestly, I probably, I wouldn't doubt that at all. Leon is like the perfect candidate for the person who ended up having to fight him just because, you know, his training from Krauser, that fight that they had in RE4, and the fact that Leon has always had to pretty much do everything by himself. Yeah, that, of course with help from Ada in most cases. Definitely not in this game. But, yeah, I feel like he was the perfect choice for the person to end him. Very well done, in my opinion. It just all happened so fast, it was surreal, but I loved it. And now, we're back with Grace, and I am really nervous they're gonna kill off Leon. I really hope they don't. I'm not saying all the characters have to live all the time, but I definitely feel like if they were gonna go the route of, you know, killing Leon, then there's a few different things I would have done in the story. If they decide to pull that trigger, I hope not, but we will see. Yeah, maybe by the end, I'll change my tune on that if they actually do, you know, kill him. I really hope not, though. But it's not looking good for him. Definitely not. We just switched back to Grace, and that's exactly where I stopped. I haven't moved from that spot. So it's going to be interesting to see where things go from here. I still have a lot of questions. The one thing I was kind of hoping they wouldn't do with the story was to make Grace a test tube baby, because, you know, we kind of did this already with, we've been doing this for a few games, to be honest. You know, there was Jake in 6, even though he wasn't a test tube baby, but we had the whole special child, special blood. Then in 7 we had Evelyn. Then in 8 we had Rose. And now we're doing it again, so I was kind of like, I'm not too, you know, happy about that, but we'll see. we'll see. It's not like they did it in a bad way. I just feel like diminishing returns from using the same plot point too many times. But I'm also very confused because, you know, they're implying she is a test tube baby, but she also looks like Alyssa, right? Like they have similar traits. And I'm kind of confused about how that could be the case if she's not her biological daughter. And yeah, because even looking at the younger version of, I guess the version of her they've kept cloning, like Emily, and then the segment we got to play as where we were playing as Chloe. I see the similarities in terms of like hair color and stuff. Obviously she had a different style, but you know, if you cut it a different way and styled it differently, I could see where there's similarities to Grace. But her eyes and like certain aspects of her face do resemble Alyssa, right? Especially the eyes. So I don't know. It's very interesting. Do you think since this game honors almost every Resident Evil, the Leon versus Special Forces and Hunk was a perfect way of honoring Operation Raccoon City and Umbrella Corps? Yeah, that's actually one reason I was confused, because at first I thought maybe the guy that, you know, turned out to be Hunk was the protagonist of Umbrella Corps 3A7, because they were kind of hyping him up as the new like Grim Reaper in that game. But when I heard his voice, you know, there's no mistaking, his voice sounds exactly like Hunk's in Remake 2. So I knew immediately who it was, especially with the way that they kind of added some gravitas to the battle. Yeah, I kind of figured immediately, yeah, that's Hunk. Something interesting I did see also is some people said that if you inspect the corpse, which I didn't think to do because I was in so much shock, his glove came off and you could see he also had RCS. Which is crazy because, again, like, if he had it, if this Wesker Xeno guy has it, who, you know, I'm still waiting for answers on that one. If he has it, then Claire definitely has it, and so does Carlos and Ada. So I'm kind of curious as to how they're gonna address that, if at all. You know, what about Chris and Jill and Rebecca? Are they, and Billy for that matter, and Barry, are they safe because they, you know, at least for the everyone except Jill, are they safe because they were only in the mansion and maybe it was a different strain of the T-virus that's causing RCS? Is Jill safe because she was cured, right? Because we don't know if Alyssa would have been safe from this because she died before finding out if she had RCS, right? At least I don't know yet because I haven't gotten to anything that might state she had it or something. So was Jill exempt from it as well? I don't know. There's a lot of questions left to answer, and I'm nervous about their capacity to answer them all, but I've been pleasantly surprised by everything in this game so far. So we'll see. Another thing I really enjoyed was the reappearance of Mr. X. That was, I kept wondering if they would do something like that, but I didn't really think it was going to happen by the time it got to the RPD. That was perfect. I really enjoyed that. I was also shocked at the reappearance of Plant 43. That stunned me. It's especially interesting thinking that that plant lived as long as it did. And I also laughed at the note where essentially they fucked up and it ended up right outside the area where they were supposed to enter their little secret lab. Like, how do you mess up that badly? But, you know, par for the course for these people. Another thing that had me interested was, upon entering the lab, you see the, like the crates and the barrels and stuff from, of course, Umbrella. That makes sense, it's their old facility. But then you also had stuff there from Tricell and the HCF. That one's especially interesting because, the HCF is a Hive Host Capture Force. That's the group that, Wesker was with during the events of Code Veronica. And they also had a hand in developing Evelyn, as you can see in Lucas's lab in RE7. So they've been around too. I don't know, there's so much going on here. And also the interesting detail about the connections supposedly locking down Raccoon City, which I'm kind of confused about because they're kind of like a, you know, an arms-dealing terrorist group, to my understanding, right? That also means Brandon Bailey is involved, who was also Marcus's understudy. So, the heck is going on? Oh, cool, I caught you before you started everything. How have you liked the game? I'm enjoying it so much. Welcome in, Callisto. Yeah, it's fantastic. It is really, really good so far. I was just recapping a little bit, so hopefully I didn't spoil you on anything. I was mostly talking about lore stuff, and not so much on big events. But yeah, I've been enjoying it so far. Really surprised at just how good the game is. I knew it was going to be good, but it has exceeded my expectations on every level, and I am really enjoying it. I don't want it to end, but I also really want answers on everything that's going on, so I'm like somewhere in the middle. I didn't understand anything? Okay, good. I didn't want to spoil you. Welcome in, Purple. I'm here, got a lurk still working. No worries, lurk away. Thank you for being here at all. I really appreciate it as always. But yeah, this has been a 10 out of 10 experience for me. I have been enjoying it through and through. I think it's the best Resident Evil that they have released since, I guess you could say since 7, but I think it's better than 7. It's definitely better than 8. Yeah, it's been fantastic. But now I'm going to stop yapping because I'm getting impatient myself, and I'm going to get into the game. So we're going to switch over. So exciting, I can't wait to play it one day. Yes, I highly recommend it. You should definitely play it when you get a chance. But yes, don't spoil yourself. Thank you for dropping by to say hi. I really appreciate that. Everybody go follow Callisto Althea. They are another awesome witch VTuber. They've popped in a few times, so I assume most of you already know of them. But just in case there's anyone here who doesn't, go follow Callisto Althea. Thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day. I will see you, I guess, next time that you're able to drop by and not have fears of being spoiled about anything. Alright, everyone. Here we go. Alright, so, this is our map of the area. Well, we're also going to play together soon. Don't forget. Yeah, yes, indeed. I didn't want to say anything just in case you didn't want to spoil it, for anybody, but yes, I actually do have a, collab coming up with Callisto and Mari. And, one other person I don't think I've interacted with. Let me get their name real quick. My Discord is in streamer mode. I cannot see their full name. Grimrocks, thank you. It's Grimrocks. Yes. Thank you, I really appreciate that. So yes, it will be a collab between me, Mari, and Grimrocks. And I'm really looking forward to it. Should be fun. It'll be next week. So you can all look forward to that as well. I'll have more information on that as we get closer to that time. So, look forward to it. Alright, we've got map here. Pandora's over there, and then we've got restricted area. Archive Central Refining System, okay. Definitely going to want to get into those archives because I want to see if they have information about what the heck is going on. Check my inventory. Okay. I think that's probably everything we're going to be able to use. Yep, I think we're as armed as we're going to get. It's time to move out.
Warning. Threat level orange. Confirmed in storage sector. Critical error. Containment lockdown failure.
I'm parked now and can eat and watch you in my car. Thank you so much. Enjoy your food, Sushi. I don't really like the sound of that threat level orange. The heck is going on in here? Because so far, we actually haven't run into any BOWs in here. I know famous last words, but we actually had human threats. Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Okay, remember when I said I thought I missed something? There was that one part where you get to see pictures of the BOWs that you I guess have appeared in the game so far, and Lickers was there, and I was like, did I miss something? You know, did I not explore some part of Raccoon City and maybe there was an optional encounter? I guess that explains it. Yeah, I don't know why you had to open your mouth.
Can't see.
Oh my god. Oh wait, you know what? Hold on 1 second. I forgot to post my live now Blue Sky post. Let me put that up. I forgot completely during the last stream. There we go. Alright, it's up. I was so into the game I completely forgot to make it known I went live. Oh my god, of course there's more. Why would they even keep these things in here? Like, how much more studying did you need to do on these things? I'm pretty sure they're quite well known at this point. The hell is wrong with them? And the shitty part is, I don't even have like a shotgun or anything. All I've got is this freaking pistol, and she didn't take the Requiem with her. Why does that look kind of like a regenerator? Don't like the look of that. Okay, can I make a... Yeah, I can make a Molotov. I'm gonna wait to make anything, because I don't want to screw myself. I'd say this is enough blood to take a little bit from, but it's not letting me do that, so... Alright, we got a knife. Another bottle. Gotta be careful about the glass. Understood. So all this glass here, these are all traps. Alright, I'm not gonna mess with him right now. We'll come back for the safe. Is that a zombie or... It looks like a fucking regenerator. Don't think it is, but it definitely kind of looks... Oh my god. These guys are totally gonna burst out of their tanks, because of course they will. And there's a licker on the ceiling. I didn't even see him. Oh my god. Alright, this door is green over here. Let's see what we can find in here first. It's dark as hell in here. Key reader. Oh, this is back the way I came. Okay. Alright. I wonder if there's a way I can... I was gonna say, maybe draw the zombie out, and then... once the liquor drops down from the noise... throw the Molotov at both of them. Guess I could use one of these bottles as a distraction. Give it a shot. It would be funny if they ended up attacking each other, but... Bottle of acid. Bottle of concentrated sulfuric acid that is highly effective against enemies with exposed tissue. Very interesting, so I will use that on the liquors. Yes, if you break a bottle of acid, the contents will disperse in the surrounding area. Particularly effective strategy against the liquor beta too. Okay. As for this guy, I wonder if I can make a hemolytic injector so I can take him out without... yeah. Without making noise. Oh my god, of course there's another one. Okay. Without making noise, fucking explodes, yeah. Another bottle of acid. Oh, of course that did that. Alright, let me hurry up and go kill that. No, no. Okay. As long as he's not coming over here just yet. Gotta be smart about this. Alright. I think that's everything. Don't know if he's fully dead or not, but that'll buy us enough time to get out of here. And we've got acid. And a blood pool. Of course, these guys are loose. I knew that was going to happen. But where's the liquor? If I can take him out first, then I'll have more freedom to engage these guys. Where did the liquor go? There it is. Oh my god, it's actually attacking him. Oh, fuck, of course it missed. Of course it missed. Are you serious? Okay. At least the Molotov compensated for it. But I gotta try not to fuck that up again. Alright, God, come on, Grace. I was hoping that you would have, I was hoping at this point in the game she would have learned to move a little bit faster, but Jesus Christ. Okay, do we have any... No. Alright, no combination for this yet. Okay, I won't stop you if you're having a good time over there. Key reader right here. Can I make something? Do I have health right now? Yeah, I've got 2 med injectors. Maybe I should make another Molotov. How much blood is here? 20? Alright, I'll make a Molotov. Finish off this blood. Might as well not let it go to waste. Alright, let's use the key card. Oh, can't use that there. Alright, where do we use the override key? Alright, let's go looking.
Alright. I'm not dead yet.
Let's examine this. Dump control room. Okay, so do we... Yeah, we go back to Leon. Got it. I knew I should have known. I do still have the Molotov if I have to do something in an emergency, so let's just put a pin in that and remember that he's there. All right, Leon.
All right, Leon. Be careful. I need to get going. Nice.
Alright. I'm on a break now, also to eat food. Haven't eaten yet today, so I will be back in a little to watch you eat in my car, while I eat my car. No problems, Purple. Enjoy your break and your food. And thanks for spending your break with me. I appreciate that. Of course you would be down on the ground now. Okay. I should probably make a save. Alright. Come on. There we go. Another ink ribbon tin. What does this want? Alright. Can't open that yet.
Threat level red in storage sector. Rebooting AI control center. Noah.
Okay. If, yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, if liquors were a threat level orange, what do they consider a threat level red? Access log, 51st assembly minutes. Checking database access request. The following data was found. Minutes of the 51st assembly meeting as transcribed by AI Control Center NOAA. The state. We heard the key, Grace Ashcroft, has finally been found. It's been 28 years since we occupied Ark. Are you sure she's the one? Z, without a doubt. There's no need to worry. More importantly, don't you think your withdrawal from the treaty is too blatant? The state, it's a bluff. The United States is and always will be at the center of the world. The BSAA are fully under our control as well. Are there any changes in product supply? Z, Ark's factory automation is constantly evolving. I believe that's enough for today. We can discuss further while we view the product. Yep, that is certainly the scumfucking US government. Can now craft bottle of acid and various other items. Okay. What's the recipe for that? Bottle and just 70 things of acid. Or, blood. Okay. And I have no idea what the combination for that is, so we can't use it. Chemical storage is here. Okay, yeah, that's the room I was in. There was handgun bullets in there? I'm scared to come over here because I think... Is that the area they were referring to? Alright, yeah, I assume by that biohazard symbol on the door. We don't want to go there yet. Let me backtrack and use this key on the other doors. One thing that always gets me about, modern games, although this did happen sometimes in older games as well, is hitting that point of no return. And I hate that, because you have no warning as to when you're not going to be able to go back unless the character blatantly says something like, oh, I better make sure I'm ready. And then you end up missing out on stuff. Bodies of those zombies are gone. There we go. I missed the bullets, I guess, because of the blood everywhere. Okay. Let's try and open these doors and see what's in here. My ears are so clogged, oh my god, I can barely hear you. Fucking cold and bronchitis, I'm so sorry. Caution, no open flames. Okay, so I can't use Molotovs in here. Transfusion bag, let me use that right now. Zombie, that'll get up at any moment. Alright, what's in the box? Animus orb. Okay, this is one of the things that goes in that slot at the door. Beautiful crimson orb, one of the objects needed to enter the administration area within ARC. Did a liquor... Oh my god, no, not a liquor. Lots of zombies. Oh, I can kick them now? That's an improvement. There was another door. Right? There was a Molotov in there? Holy shit, they're even tackling each other out of the way to get to me. Okay, where the fuck is that Molotov? It's on that bed over there. Said no open flames in here. So I'm a little nervous that this room is gonna kinda explode, but I guess I did save, so why not give it a shot. Ah. No, there was an ink ribbon tin in here, but I have enough. That's enough. Let's get out of here. I just realized your Grace one last time you played. Yeah. Yeah, I left off with her. Okay, was there not another door to use this key in? Could have sworn there was. Alright, I might be misremembering. Actually, yeah, I am. It was this door right here. Okay. Let's put this in here. Alright, that's one. Still can't open those safes. So I guess we're going in here. I don't know what threat level red is, but what's got me nervous is, all I've got is a pistol. But here we go. So liquor right here. There's the umbrella logo. Alright, we got a liquor over there. Let's take this. Sterilization chamber safe. Emergency supplies code. Okay, let me double back. Let's ease our way out of here. So sterilization... Yeah, right there. Okay. I want to get all the supplies I can before whatever they're hinting at. Oh my god, you conjured up the liquors? Yeah, welcome in. Welcome in, G-Rockstar. Yeah, I did. I spoke a little bit too soon, and now they're all over the lab. I have a way of doing that, it seems. Alright, yeah, we go straight, and then that far side door, we should be able to go into the sterilization lab without encountering those other zombies, unless they waddled in here. There's still the one meandering about, but... I didn't think we'd see them in this game. Me either. I mean, I kind of suspected if we did, it would be in the RPD, but... as it turns out, that was not the case. Alright, 10, 90, 20. 10, 90, 20. Alright, I'll take it all. Alright. It's not a ton, but a little extra. It's better than nothing. Still need the code for that one. Alright, time to slow it down before I trigger that liquor. I don't know if he can be dodged. Might have to make a acid bottle. Deal with him. Can I beat him to the corner? Yeah, there we go. Of course there's a zombie down here. Thank God they're not as sensitive as the ones from RE2 Remake. Oh, you've got to be kidding me right now. Ah. Well, I'm about to take a hit. Alright, 2 birds, 1 stone. Not happy about the hit, but... could be worse, all things considered, and another hit patch, yes. And then make another acid bottle, yeah. Alright, we are ready to burn this guy if we need to. That one doesn't open. This one does. Oh my, of course. Ugh. Get in the acid. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fucking asshole. Jesus Christ. Monitor control room safe. Okay. Now we can go back and get that. Alright, lots of scrap. I gotta wait for this guy to turn around again and then I can open up that crate. This lab's cursed. What the fuck were they doing here? Yeah, I don't see why they needed all these liquors here. Left 50, right 60, left 80 in case you didn't write it down. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sally. Of course it's another piece of shit zombie. Why wouldn't it be? Like, how did they even get locked into those crates anyway? Gotta be kidding me. Alright, let's go open that thing upstairs, because I'm burning through supplies here. I don't want to use that many healing items. Or zombies, but they look like old ones, yeah. Alright, let's open this. 50, 60, 80. Alright, we got more acid, which is good. It's not gonna help us with that stupid zombie, though. I might need to make a hemolytic injector. Can I? Yeah. So to beg the question, were people still operating out of there? Oh yeah. Yeah, evidently. Yes, indeed. They've been coming to and from Raccoon City to get into this place. And apparently Umbrella weren't the only ones, as there's containers from Tricell, company you may recognize from RE5, and the HCF, the High Post Capture Force, who were the organization that Wesker was working for in Code Veronica. Come here. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. I just sucked in a breath so hard. Oh. Didn't think about that before breaking that box. Okay. Alright, well we can make another bottle of acid, so we're not really worse for wear. Not bad. Okay, let's go up. Am I okay to walk? So it seems like can't get that stuff over there yet.
AI Control Center. NOAA. Reboot failure. No response. Containment protocol inactive. Containment protocol inactive.
Well, they just gave me a free ink ribbon. Which isn't good because, of course, something's about to happen. Let's take the med injector. I hear a Mr. Raccoon somewhere. Right there. Do I really have to shoot him? Oh, come on. Alright, we got the map. So the archives is in here. Also take us to the study and the elevator. Yeah, we've pretty much explored everything anyway. There's only really this place left to go. Kind of a weird time to give me the map when we've already kind of been through everywhere, but alright, I'll make the save now. Just because I don't want to risk taking it and then starting a cutscene.
This is it. I did it.
Give me that first. Alright. Let's make acid. Right, well now I know that this will make noise if I break these. Which is remarkably cruel. But I do have an idea. Two for the price of one. And we get our goodies now. More acid for free. There's another crate over here. Alright, I guess we're safe to go down now. Nothing else in this room, right? No. Okay, I thought there was still one over there. I'll keep the acid equipped in case one bursts through the ceiling, RE2 style. I keep having a feeling that's gonna happen. What did I say? Except, of course, it was through the glass, but... Okay. I should make another save. Because I'm pretty sure this is going to lead to a boss battle. Alright.
Still have a ways to go. I wonder if Leon's made it yet.
Alright, is this our obligatory near end of game lore dump room? Do we get answers finally? Do any of these computers work here? This one does. Access log, first assembly minutes. Checking database access requests. The following data was found. Minutes of the first assembly meeting is transcribed by AI Control Center NOAA. The defense. The leakage of the T-virus has caused an epidemic. If things continue like this, all eyes will be focused on Raccoon City. KD. There's nothing to worry about. ARC has been secured. Commence the missile strike. The defense. We are lacking presidential authorization. The organization is involved. There's no need for the usual procedures. The blame will fall solely on Spencer. Understood. With this, Umbrella will be dismantled and will seize their assets. What in the world? Alright. Maybe we finally get answers.
Where have I seen this?
Something important. I'll explain later. Shutting yourself away in a dark room like this is quite the change for you, after the life you've led.
Life takes unexpected turns, don't you think?
Looking back, do you feel that the choices you've made have contributed to your present circumstances?
Of course. What you sow, you reap. Isn't that the natural order?
So, tell me, Lord Spencer, what would you like the world to know?
The truth. But, a short break before we begin, Miss Ashcroft. I'm not a young man. I don't have the energy I once did.
When the hell was that?
Why would Mom hide this?
When would she have interviewed him? Of course it would cut away there.
Okay. Back in biz. Fuck.
You alright, Leon?
I am now. Grace cleared the way for me.
That's not what I'm talking about. Your body can't take much more.
I'm gonna settle this. You just send us a chopper for immediate evacuation.
Oh, please, please don't die, Leon. Please don't die.
Containment breach. System-wide surveillance failure detected.
Well, they gave me Requiem ammo, so bad news. Still don't understand why. None of the other RE characters came here with Leon. Welcome in, Bulgay.
Over there. Easy as pie.
Real funny. Angry and at work. Sorry to hear that. Welcome in. Hopefully, hopefully things here can, help a little bit. Did something happen? Damn it. Oh, God. Leon is reaching his limit. Sudden bouts of coughing and blurred vision will cause him to falter. He can only wait for these effects to subside.
Oh, shit. You gotta be kidding me.
Me too. Go kick my coworker for me. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's what you're talking. Okay, no, I did read that, but I wasn't sure if you meant that or something happened at work. Yeah, it's you missed it in the last stream. Hunk, while Leon was heading to the lab, Hunk just pops out of nowhere, and they're like, "Oh, do you want us to send backup?" And he's like, "No, no worries, I've got this." And he tackles Leon through a window. They go into this red room, and then start fighting with axes, and Leon, God, what did Leon say to him? Oh yeah, Hunk said something along the lines of like, oh, I had heard, you know, you're pretty skilled or whatever, and then Leon's like, oh, I didn't realize that I had a fan, you know, you want an autograph, and he's like, I heard you were a smartass too, and yeah, we fought, and then by the end of it, Leon slit his fucking throat with his axe. It was a really cool fight, and I did not expect Hunk to be here at all, let alone that they would kill him. So that was pretty crazy. Also, I'm sorry that somebody is giving you a hard time at work, Sushi. Not happy to hear that at all. Alright, we I keep on with this paranoia of a boss battle, but I feel like I'm getting close to it, though. Did you notice that after Leon beats him, Hunk's body isn't there anymore? Really? That I didn't notice because, I kept going right to the objective. I didn't, like, double back. If that's the case, that is strange for sure. Unless he's gonna come back as a fucking zombie, but, because Leon slit his throat pretty definitively, so if he survived that, oh my god. We'll see. Hopefully he doesn't attack me again. Upper level, Central Refining System, Pandora. Middle level, Bioweapon Repository 11. Bioweapon Repository, huh? What can I buy? Probably not much. Body armor repair. Let's do that for sure. Think I upgraded pretty much everything, the most that I can. Yeah, shotgun is pretty much all tricked out except for this. I might as well, I guess. I'll do that because the rifle actually came in handy against Plant 43. Okay, hatchet is fully upgraded. All right. All right, here goes nothing. Tracking module. Let's get all of these before the tanks inevitably empty out. Welcome in, Mrs. Maniac. Nice to see you here. Thank you for joining.
Security threat detected. Elevator shut down. In effect. Override key authorization required.
So there's something in that room across the way from where we're about to go, right? That's what you're telling me. And I gotta kill it before I can before I can get in the elevator. So we're in for a fight. Let's go deposit this module I just picked up. I could use that to upgrade the Requiem again. But we'll wait. No need to do that yet. Let's see what we're dealing with first. I don't want to commit the points in case I would be better served using it on something else. For now, let's go find out what has the quarantine in effect. Ah, this is the room we were in before.
This must be the room.
Can't get in there.
I'll take out as many of you fuckers as I can.
I hear them making their way up here in a hurry. Shit. Fuck.
I'm not done yet.
Fuck. This is so obnoxious. They're getting free hits in. Get the fuck out of here. Thank you for the lurk, Mrs. Maniac. Alright. Yeah, lickers are all over this lab. I, conjured them up by, wondering about their whereabouts in this game. Remind me not to do that. Alright, I'm gonna go back and repair my, body armor. These moments. Oh, thank you for the gift sub, okay, I appreciate that. Body armor repair. Let's also buy a med injector and shotgun shells. Might as well. Manifested it, yeah. I was asking about them and they showed up immediately after. Speak of the devil, yeah. Right, herb. God, this is horrible.
changed much, have you?
Go ahead, pop out. This lab looks too clean. Yeah, because it's actually still in use. Surprised that guy didn't. You know what? Let me stop saying things that's inevitably gonna jinx it. Right? That's probably a good idea. Is it possible to assassinate these guys with the axe? Nope, doesn't seem like it. Christ. So that over-the-shoulder loading technique that Leon uses is more of a race gun technique. It allows easier loading of the shells, and it looks like he's doing either a double or quad loading. I'll post a picture of it in the Discord later. That is super cool. Yeah, you can definitely tell somebody knew their stuff working on this. And I feel like they took a lot of inspiration from John Wick. I feel like it's undeniable at this point that Leon has become the Resident Evil universe's John Wick. Thank you for the hydrate, Miss Maniac. Okay. Alright, let's get this door open. Or, I guess, lower the platform. Now the guy will pop out. Right? Wrong. Not yet. Now. Or not. It's coming. It'll just have to happen at the most inefficient moment. Once I take that. I need to do a whole breakdown of Hunk's gear. It's definitely updated for this year. Yeah, he was, he seemed like he was outfitted in all the latest kit. Perfectly, ready to try to murder me. Alright, now we take it. Kind of surprised they didn't make me go back to that lab. God, this is so horrible. You see, this is why I didn't use these when I was in here before. I knew that they were going to pull something like this. If I could kite them over to this bomb here, that'd be wonderful. Yeah, apparently they're a little too smart for that. I gotta heal immediately. If I go into that infection mode, I'm fucked. Okay. Alright, that was a little messier than I intended, but... I've been having a blast playing Tomb Raider. Are you playing the original? And thank you for the stretch, Mrs. Maniac. Hold on, let me fix the Twitch player, and then I'll stretch. Okay, there we go. That actually felt good on my back. So you're still using the M1A? Yeah. I took the scope off of it so I can use it easier. But, it's actually still coming in handy. It's definitely a better battle rifle than a sniper rifle. I'm finding that, to be honest. It was my, it came in clutch during the, fight with Plant 43. That massive plant in RE2 remake, migrated, evidently. And I had to fight it. And it came in a lot of handy. I'll buy more ammo for it. Alright, let's drop another save. Yeah, I got the older ones and 3 newer ones. I'm wanting to do a playthrough of them on stream sometime. We'll see. Alright, elevator's active.
Warning, autoclave compromised. Pod lockdown unavailable.
How did I know something like this was gonna happen?
Memory corrupt. Self-repair functionality offline. Air thermometer warning. Pod lockdown unavailable.
Yeah. Let's get this over with.
Give me this.
The elevator will arrive shortly.
Yeah, not fast enough.
The elevator has arrived.
I stand corrected. Alright, let's get in here. God, I love the weapon stowing animations. I know, everything is so smooth.
I need to go.
Alright. Come on, Leon, please, please.
Almost sure.
Oh my god.
Not done yet.
This is like the... similar to the part in RE4 Remake, but much, much worse. It's already carrying a crap ton of weight with the Requiem and the shoulder rake. I like it though, yeah. There's no way we can fight that fucking... I don't know, Wesker... Reborn, clone, wannabe, whatever he is. Not in this condition. Back here. Please play the video before giant monster jumps in the room.
What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
My research opened Pandora's box, unleashing disaster upon the world.
Except Elpis, the goddess of hope? Or so the myth goes.
A blind hope.
What do you mean?
Humans cannot predict when death will come for them. This is why they have hope. I was wrong, and I am plagued by guilt. Happiness cannot be achieved at the expense of others. I think that's enough for today.
Why did you accept my request for an interview? Who is that? Is that one of your subjects?
Of course not. She was alone in the world. I took her in to make amends.
Is she...
Perfectly normal. Just an average child needing a home. She is my hope. Aren't you beautiful? Would you like to hold her?
Oh, okay. She's adorable. What's her name?
Grace.
Grace. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
I've said my piece. I only hope it serves as a requiem for those who have passed.
Leon. Leon. I need to hurry.
There's still so many things I have questions about. Oh god. Well, this is clearly Spencer's office.
This is finally my chance to do something.
Oh my god, please, please, please don't be dead.
Oh, Leon! Leon! Oh no. Oh, hey, it's me. It's Grace. Oh, please wake up. Come on. Wake up, wake up. Hey.
Hey, you. I was just resting my eyes.
You're okay. Oh, let me help you.
Let's do this.
Okay. I don't know the password.
It's okay. Soon left are wide open for us. Any wrong code will do. It'll destroy Opus.
Let's try.
Grace, whatever it takes. I can buy you some time.
No. No, I have an idea.
I trust you. I trust you.
So, the prodigal daughter returns.
I know the password.
Fulfill your destiny, and all will be forgiven.
Only if you let Leon live.
Very well.
You've got to be kidding me. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Gotta choose. Oh. If I destroy it, then he's gonna kill Leon. And if I release it... Sally, you don't have to tell me the right one, but what I just want to know, what did you do when you got here? Because I imagine you were faced with the same dilemma. What did you choose? Destroy. What about you, Sushi? What did you pick? Listen to your heart. Well, this is reminding me so much. I can tell that Nakanishi is the director of this game for several reasons. Release? Okay. This is reminding me of the choice between Mia and Zoe in RE7. And, I wonder if there's significant differences between the choices here. Or if it's kind of a false choice, like in, well, it's not... Sevens is not a false choice. But it didn't really lead to a significantly different ending. The only difference really is that Mia dies, but, you know, obviously, in that case, I imagine it'll be similar here, where Leon will die. Feel the pressure because the choice matters. Oh, God. Christ. I don't trust this guy as far as I can throw him. If he gets what he wants, he could, he could just kill him anyway. Oh, this is so difficult. Felt like an Expedition 33. I haven't played that game yet, so I don't get that reference, but I do want to play that game, and I hope they port it to Switch too. So now you're telling me I'd have to worry about something similar in that game as well? What does the creator desire? Alright, when was the last time I saved? I think before... Was it after I dealt with the liquors? I think before the, elevator sequence, so if I come back to this, it shouldn't be too far away. Don't worry about the save. Okay. I want to save Leon. But... I guess, you know... Saving one person at the expense of the entire world is probably not a wise or or just thing to do. Funny part is, technically, I would assume. I mean, I don't trust fucking Spencer either, and I'm very confused about when that interview took place. It had to be before 2006, right? Because that's when he was killed by Wesker. But technically Leon and Spencer's desires align here, right? If he's being honest about regret, he would want it destroyed. Sushi has me freaked out here with these crying emotes. She chose release, and Sally chose destroy. Fuck the agony of it all. Well, I'm not saying you should choose the same as me. Just think about the facts and do what you believe is best. Well, that's what I was trying to think, right? Do what you feel is right. Oh my goodness. She said I have an idea, right? The correct password is Victoria. Okay. Here's the thing. God, I hate trick questions, right? I feel like if he was honest about what he wanted, and Grace is supposed to be, you know, as Zeno just said, the prodigal daughter, if he really wanted to do something right, which I highly doubt, but if he did, then maybe this thing is not as bad as it seems. Maybe it's actually something that these people aren't realizing would be... I don't know. I think I'm trying to talk myself into what I think will save Leon. Who would say... Crazy, who would say that? I wonder who, Sushi, I wonder who. Oh boy. It's like I'm trying to think about everything that's happened in the story so far, and then also try to put my mind where Nakanishi's would be, right? Because when I think back to that choice in RE7, the obvious choice was Mia, because of course that's the whole reason why Ethan showed up to Louisiana. You know, that's his wife. But then I feel like they kind of knew a lot of people would be annoyed with her, especially after getting the suspicion she had something to do with everything that happened. And Zoe was a victim, and she was the one who was helping you the whole time. There is no choice in RE7, Mia must always die. Yeah, I feel like, you know, they intentionally made her kind of annoying, right, to bait you into choosing Zoe, and then of course you get the bad ending. She's a fucking terrorist. She is, and she was never brought to justice. Kind of a strange oversight by Chris, but I feel like they're doing the same thing here. The obvious choice for anybody that cares about Leon would be to release Elpis, right? So maybe this is a similar thing where you just destroy it because, you know, that would be the right thing to do, assuming Elpis is some horrible thing. But interestingly, it seems like no one actually knows what the fuck it is. They say it's his final virus, they say it's something about being able to, you know, transfer consciousness through blood. Ask the spirits. Fuck it, humanity had a good run then. Ask the cards. That would be pretty interesting, right? But I always feel like wasting, wasting the time of asking the cards questions about things that aren't at all important is not a great thing to do. Alright, I'm gonna make my choice. I have to remind myself that this is a game, and I can always make the other choice. I'm just gonna be so pissed off if Leon dies, but... I guess we're about to find out what Elpis is.
Please know that you are my hope.
She is my hope. A blind hope.
Okay. This is it.
There you go. Whatever you are, Elpis, guess you're about to be free. I knew this sack of shit was still alive. Good luck, have fun. Oh boy.
What are you doing, Grace?
Spencer regretted what he did.
Well done.
You promised.
Yes, that I would let him live. Mr. Kennedy, I give you the honor of experiencing my power firsthand.
I'm not sure Elpis is what you think it is. There's nothing special about me. I was never any key. Spencer wanted to make amends.
But you released Elpis. What is it? Tell me!
Leon!
Why? My powers!
Elpis is Spencer's atonement. It's an antiviral.
Inject him, inject him! Oh, Grace, please shut up and just inject him.
Amazing. I am humbled by my master's genius.
Your research was wrong. Elpis wasn't a weapon. There was never a key.
Spencer's paper was obviously incomplete. There was no connection between Grace and Emily.
Do you know how much time and money I wasted on this?
Inject
You
him.
see the genius? With Elpis, all virus-based weapons are useless. The world order would be thrown into chaos.
We wanted a weapon.
Instead, Spencer gave us anarchy. I will carry his torch and bring his vision to life.
You? You and Spencer were a means to an end.
Yet he outwitted you all.
Spencer defied us and paid the price with his life. He was nothing.
You are nothing but an imitation.
It's over, Victor. The Connections is done with you.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
We can't let him have it.
Can you please inject Leon? Oh fuck.
Your ignorance is staggering.
It's a cure.
Thank you.
Oh, it's working. Leon, it's working. Wake up.
Now, let it all come down. All of it.
Grace, what happened?
Oh, Grace, come on.
It's gonna go! Grab something! Grace. Grace! Time to bury Umbrella's last skeleton.
Spencer's vision lives through me. And I will see that it is brought to fruition.
And how many more will have to die for that vision?
It seems your skills have diminished. Sacrifices must be made. In the
For what?
grand scheme of things, a few lives are nothing.
Not to me. I swore that I'd always protect those lives.
Alright, gotta heal. Alright, you're pissing me off.
Open your eyes. Humanity is full of drooling imbeciles. They need me, a leader to guide them into a glorious new future.
The humanity I know is far more capable than you realize. They don't want your leadership.
Fuck is he about to do? Of course he's got a rocket launcher.
Seems you're reaching your limit.
You are fucking annoying.
I will not let those ideals win. Give it up!
I don't have anything to heal, do I? Oh, I have one med injector left. This dude can't even fucking talk.
It's over. Good riddance.
He's not done yet. What did I say?
Nemesis
You've got to be kidding me.
So damn relentless.
You've got to be fucking kidding me. Load up. Ouch. Gotta reload. I'm fucked anyway. I don't have any health. No way to make more. Yep. Reload. That's a hard one to dodge. I gotta try and figure that out. Guess I gotta try to run up the middle, huh? Alright, I'm definitely gonna eat it again, but... You can parry those? Okay, that... I did not know that. Thank you, Sushi. Alright, let me sharpen this up then. Reload. Thank you so much, Sushi. Alright, bring out these disgusting fucking boils. Now that I have that information, you're in trouble. Big one is still the biggest problem. I do not know how to dodge. God, the Requiem is such a fucking badass gun.
This time, you ain't getting back up.
Jill would be so proud.
Grace, where are you? Sherry. Sherry, come in. Sherry. Shit. Grace! Grace, hang on. Fuck. Grace. Grace.
Leon.
We need to get you out of here. Come on. Let's get you out.
There's no way out, is there?
Well, I'm not gonna leave your side. I'm gonna sit right here with you.
Oh my god. Oh, welcome in, Chug. Sorry, I'm just engrossed in the scene. I'll catch up on chat in a second.
I guess this is it then.
Oh god, good news or bad news? No way, is this? Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Kennedy?
Depends who's asking.
Alpha, you read me, sir? Yeah, they're safe. I got them. Yes, sir. Mr. Kennedy, I have a message from Captain Redfield.
Yes! Yes! Fuck yes! Holy shit.
I'll be damned. Can't believe that antiviral actually worked. Feel better than I have in ages.
Oh, thank God. I'm glad you're okay.
We got a dose with your name on it. You'll be back in action in no time.
Thank you, Leon.
Would have been a lot smoother if Chris hadn't been so late to the party.
Where is Chris, anyway?
No idea. I'm sure I'll run into him at some point. Yeah, I'll call you back. It's over then.
Yeah. Well, this really was our last hope.
Well, let's pray Umbrella hasn't left us any more nasty surprises.
I wish we could have saved Emily.
Grace, I didn't hit any of her vitals. She could still be alive.
What are you saying?
Maybe we can save her.
it'd certainly be challenging if she's still parading around as a massive fucking monster, but...
The government has confirmed the existence of an actively trading bioweapons lab located here in the ruins of Raccoon City. The origin point for the worldwide spread of bioorganic weapons. This illegal facility appears to have been in operation for decades.
Sources say that the extension of the lockdown and the recent series of mysterious deaths may be related to tragic events in Raccoon City 28 years ago.
Evidence seized in Raccoon City has led the Justice Department to reopen its investigation into Oswald Spencer and the long-defunct Umbrella Corporation. Some believe the government deliberately drove Umbrella into bankruptcy.
The late Alyssa Ashcroft is credited with cracking the Oswald Spencer story. Conspiracy theorists are already claiming that she was killed in a cover-up, and that the organization responsible is secretly controlling our government.
Tonight, in a speech from the Oval Office, the president is expected to reject allegations of any government involvement since the Raccoon City incident.
Oh, she really is alive. Holy shit. Okay, Oh. This was fantastic. I still have some questions, though. I still have a few questions. You did it? Yes, I did. Glad you got the good ending. Me too. I was struggling with that decision, but the only thing I could think of was if he supposedly really regretted what he did, then releasing it seems like it would have been the right choice. But there's a couple things that I think I need to think more about. But then there's also other stuff that I do feel personally, the answers might be kind of obvious if you've been paying attention to as much of the lore as I do. But hold on, let me see real quick. Let me go up. It's too late now, but there was a med injector behind you on the ground. Oh my god, thank you, Chug. I'm blind. Oh my god. Did they ever say how the raccoon virus spread to Leon and Sherry? So my understanding is that it's kind of like, you know, how if you have chicken pox early in life, you run the risk of developing shingles later on. I think it's like that, like the Raccoon City syndrome. I don't know how specifically Leon and Sherry came down with it in particular. And they didn't really explain. That's one thing I was kind of curious about, was were they going to explain if just being around like zombies and stuff you know, presents that risk of contracting like a low-grade T virus infection, or is it a retcon that they're supposed to have been bitten, or potentially was it from other things? Because I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of shit that happens to these characters in across the series that you would think would result in an infection, like going through the contaminated sewer water in RE2, right? Or being scratched by zombies or whatever, like things like that. So yeah, it makes me wonder if if that was the explanation for it, or what. But they weren't really entirely clear, so... Well, shit, that means I'm so much closer to getting shingles and the raccoon virus. Yeah, that's kind of how I interpreted it, from the file explaining how it activates later in life for people. It kind of sounded like, essentially what shingles is to chickenpox, but, you know, the T-virus version. I destroyed the world to save my husband. That was my decision. Well, I don't blame you, Sushi. I didn't want to let Leon die either. And, man, now I'm really wondering what would have happened if I would have made the lab explode instead. That choice kind of reminded me of... It reminded me of RE7, but it also really reminded me of, Revelations 2. Wait, Rebecca managed to make an antivirus in Vendetta. Why didn't they do that for the T-virus and all the others earlier? They actually did. There's a few T-virus antivirals. Daylight from Outbreak. The version of it that Jill took in RE3, which I don't believe is named. And there's a variant of it in the movie Degeneration. And they still use the Daylight vaccine to treat T-virus infections. You can actually see that in the manga Marwa Desire, where there's an outbreak of C-virus on a college campus. And, yeah. What the hell, did I just hear my voice? What do you mean? God, it's cold in here. Hold on, I'm gonna... Like me in a video coughing? Huh. Ah, okay, go on. Yeah, and, Ah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so they still use Daylight to treat it, so I'm assuming it's, you know... I guess, it just powers through those vaccines. I don't know. They didn't really do a whole lot of explaining. I don't know if that's just classic Capcom, what do you call it, plot holes? Or maybe there's more after the credits, or maybe a DLC, who knows? Maybe I missed something in Raccoon City, I have no clue. But it is cold in here, I'm gonna get up real quick and, turn off the fan, 1 second. Nothing new, but still. Okay, I am back. Yeah, there's a lot of questions I have. And it's interesting because if evidently Hunk had it, meaning the RCS, then it stands to reason that Claire had it, and Ada, and Carlos, and if somehow the fucker is still alive, then definitely fucking Nikolai as well. My only true question, what about my damn Claire? Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'm kind of surprised she didn't show up. I mean, I didn't think she would, you know, randomly turn up, but I thought maybe at some point we would see her on the other end with Sherry or something. And I'm kind of surprised that Chris, like, I wasn't expecting the Hound Wolf Squad to show up. That was cool, but also like, Chris, where are you? This seemed like kind of an important event to decide that you weren't going to show up. Maybe Claire having the virus that triggers through fear is free of hurt, but again, Sherry has G and can regenerate from injuries and still got it. Yeah. Did you notice him take off his gloves when he was walking away from Grace? Yeah. Did I miss something with that? I did notice that. What about the odds that Chris's team showed up at all? Well, I assume that, you know, considering the BSAA had gone to Raccoon City and gotten massacred, I assume that they were quite well aware of it because they've been keeping tabs on the BSAA, right? We know that from Village. Plus, I don't know, maybe Sherry talked to them? There's definitely questions there. Look at the concept art. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out. I've been wanting to check that stuff out after anyway. I have to see if I have enough points to buy a good chunk of it. Because of course, every Resident Evil game has a ton of stuff cut out of it. We already know that this apparently started as a very different game. They told us that when they revealed it. So I'm curious to look at the concept art. I wonder what the future holds for Grace. One thing they also didn't explain was how she didn't get infected, because she got bit at the start. And now that we know Grace isn't particularly special, I wonder why she never came down with the virus. Okay, here we go.
And Sherry's okay? Oh, good. I'm so glad. Emily, yeah, she's doing great. I'm actually teaching her how to read.
Grace. Grace. Where's that report?
Sorry. Leon, gotta go. Catch up soon.
Aww. Oh boy, what now?
Remaining BSAA forces have been neutralized. Retrieving the objective before they send in the wolves.
What the hell was that? Retrieving the objective before they send in the wolves. So there's still something in Raccoon City. What could possibly be left? My theory is that it's Timu Wesker's head. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, Hound Wolf Squad, yeah, absolutely. So, here's the thing, right? They also never explained Xeno, which is kind of annoying, right? Unless I missed something. Here's what I think about that guy, though. In Umbrella Corps, and I know a lot of people didn't bother with that game, and I can't blame anybody. I am a super nerd, so when they had a free access weekend, I blew through it. There's actually a story to the game, and evidently, depending on how much you believe supposed insiders and people with intel, they cut a lot of the story out of that game. It was originally supposed to tie in more to Resident Evil 7, supposedly, and then they cut a lot of stuff out. Regardless, there's still relevant information in the game, and you can tell that it's canon and that it has a lot to do with what's going on, because of course it was our first look at the modern Umbrella, which I'm surprised they didn't get into in this game, but it was our first look at the modern Umbrella, the blue Umbrella, right? That is the old Umbrella reincorporated as a PMC rather than a pharmaceutical company. And of course, they make weapons and other equipment for fighting BOWs, right? Not only did they end up showing up in RE7, but they also showed up in the manga Heavenly Island, which starred Claire. And that manga was going over one of the islands that Alex Wesker was using for research before she settled on the island that she used in Revelations 2. Hold on one second. Okay. Yeah. So in that game, we kind of find out that whoever is... First of all, we find out the obvious, that the new Umbrella is evil, just like the old Umbrella. Go figure. And whoever is in charge of them apparently seems to be Wesker, which doesn't make sense, right? You can hear his voice in the multiplayer mode. He sounds just like, at the time, the guy that was playing him, DC Douglas. You can hear him do like victory quotes and stuff like that. And then in the story, there's certain little dialogue bits or whatever on the load screens where some of your handlers talk about how this guy seems really familiar, and then one of them mentions that they stole a lock of his hair and did like a DNA test or something, and was like, you'd never believe who he is, and then afterwards they imply that, I guess, this dude got killed. So, yeah. The speculation was always that either somehow Wesker was alive, or that this person was some sort of impersonator. But what's crazy to me is he had all of Wesker's abilities. He was able to do his little Matrix shit, right? So that means he definitely also took that experimental cocktail that turned Wesker into, you know, what he was. So what if the next one they make is about Rose from Village? Personally, I kind of hope not. Mainly because that would be such a far shift into the future, and also I'm kind of down on Rose as a character, mainly just because, again, I feel like Resident Evil is better when we're playing as characters who are vulnerable, even if they're, you know, specially trained or whatever. It feels good to play as people who are human. The occasional time where you're playing as someone that has some sort of abilities like Sherry is fine, because her whole ability is passive, you know, just healing. But I don't want to play a game that involves us using like superpowers and stuff. I feel like that starts to kind of destroy any notion of being afraid that you have. Because even in this game where like Leon's sections were all very action-packed, they still did a good job of injecting fear, in my opinion, like having so many dark areas in Raccoon City, as well as, you know, making Leon more human with his sickness and stuff like that. Like they found a way to nerf him a bit, if you want to use that terminology, to make him feel more vulnerable. I mean, you saw how I was towards the end there. I was like biting my nails hoping that he wouldn't die. So they did a good job, in my opinion, of that. BRB, no problem. Yeah, take your time. By the way, for those not subbed, we have an ad break starting in 45 seconds. Need to bring back my boy Carlos. Yeah, I would love to see him again. Yeah, Village doesn't make any sense since you die just because gameplay, because Ethan is supposed to regenerate. Yeah, it makes it weird, right? Because they can't really abide by the like the actual like rules of the character that they are having you play as. So yeah, it ends up kind of making things feel really weird in general. And since we already had Ethan and we had Rose, and like I said, they've been kind of doing the special child thing since RE6, if you think about it, with Jake. Even though he didn't technically have powers, but, you know, he had the special blood, and, I mean, he went fist to fist with Ustanok, so that was already kind of pushing it a little bit. I kind of just want to play as a character who genuinely is normal. Which, now that we know Grace was actually normal, that was a nice twist. I am a little confused, though. Because, again, she got bit definitively at the beginning of the game. And just never turned, so... I really wonder what the deal is with that. Whether she was, just naturally immune, or... I don't know. Dude, I forgot. The Tomb Raider 2013 is a really good game so far. I have never played that. They did port it to, Switch too, so I might give it a shot. Could be a fun stream game. You know what I figured out? When Hunk shows up just as Commander, plus if we take into the timeline Hunk is like 60 years old. Yeah. But I mean, he has the same voice actor. And, he also, has RCS. Which doesn't necessarily mean that he has to be the same guy. But everyone who came down with Raccoon City Syndrome was there during the time of the outbreak. So if he wasn't Hunk, then he was definitely somebody that was there in the lab. And of course, what we were told was that all the other USS guys got killed except Hunk. So that makes me think it was him. But could be wrong. Could have been a fun little Easter egg. But, you know, even that guy at the end had a different voice actor. So that was not, you know, I don't think there's a chance that they faked us out and that guy right there wasn't Hunk. But, like you said, apparently his body disappeared, so maybe he got back up and... I don't know, maybe we get the third survivor, and he gets up and steals one of the final freaking Elpis files and injects himself and makes it out. Who knows? I just don't want to believe that they'd kill him off like that. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty unexpected. I didn't expect, you know, it's so weird that, of all the characters I expected to come back in this game, I did not expect for Hunk to make an appearance. At all. Let alone for him to get into a fight with Leon. That was really cool. Me and Sally were talking about that before, and we were saying, if he had to go out to any of the main characters, Leon was the perfect choice. I think Leon is probably the only one that could realistically take Hunk in a fight. Honestly. Not that I can't see Chris holding his own or anything, but I think Leon has the experience and dexterity to deal with Hunk. And they showed that off very well. But I don't know. There was a lot of questions. And the thing about Resident Evil that I sometimes hate is during development, Capcom always cuts a lot of things from the story, right? I think even Sushi was alluding to that. I'm going to check out the bonus menu now and see if I can get some of the concept art, and we'll see what they've cut. But they always cut so much from every Resident Evil release. And it ends up kind of muddying the waters with the plot at times. So I don't know. Maybe they just didn't think about certain things and how it would fall into place or something. I'm curious, but there's still a lot of questions that weren't answered, you know? When did that interview with Spencer take place? Because he sure as hell didn't seem repentant in RE5 before Wesker killed him, you know? So that's a clear retcon, but I mean, at the same time, during that encounter, he also lied to Wesker's face about him being the final Wesker child. Right? And that's not a retcon, because even during, you know, RE5 itself, we see the note about Alex being alive. So that was something even at the time they wrote. You know, it's not like new writers came in and went over that. So we know Spencer is you know, he doesn't always say what he really means. He lied to Albert's face, knowing full well probably that Albert was going to kill him. So was that like is the idea now that was him kind of like you know, suicide by Wesker, I guess, right? What was his motivation for that? Because we do know from the notes in his estate in Lost in Nightmares that he was still looking for some sort of immortality thing, right? That's also why Alex betrayed him. So, you know, what was the deal with that? That's definitely a very weird shift on his part to suddenly have regrets after all the children he's killed. I mean, for God's sake, look, in this game, they have pictures of him going to the orphanage in Raccoon City to see the children that they were experimenting on, you know, and then all of a sudden he wants to be a grandpa at the end of the game. It wasn't a big break I was talking about, just a little accessory on his left hand. Okay, interesting. All right, so I will go check that out. But yeah, there are so many things that I'm so confused about. Same thing with her boss there, right? To me, I feel like he had to be in on the whole thing, because she was never reported missing, right? When Leon goes to Renwood, he goes there because a cop was reported missing. That's the guy that we saw at the beginning of the game, right? The one that attacks her. So when he failed to report back, the police reported him missing, but we never hear anything about a missing FBI agent, right? And Leon would have definitely been privy to that, considering he also works for another branch of the government. So Sherry would have known, right? And when he gets to the hospital in Rhodes Hill, he's confused to see the FBI there at all. So what was the deal with him not reporting Grace's absence? Right? Big government doing what big government does best. Lie. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, that feels really strange. And we literally see notes in the game, right? Even in the final lab section, that the government was working hand in hand with Victor and I guess Zeno to try and unlock Elpis or whatever the fuck they were trying to do, because they were the ones that had expanded the block on Raccoon City to 2040. And there's a note that literally says, you know, basically hurry it up. You know, we're going to extend the blockade until 2040, but it's important that you uncover what you're trying to look for before then. So the government was directly involved, right? There's no question about that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm hoping there's DLC for this because, you know, I had high hopes for 7's DLC. I enjoyed Not a Hero. It definitely felt like something that they cut stuff out of. And again, depending on how much you believe people who claim to have inside information, being the giga nerd that I am, I tune into several sources that have been correct about leaks in the past, so I am inclined to trust what they say. And supposedly a lot of stuff was cut story-wise out of the Not a Hero DLC, due to a chaotic development period, which would make sense because that DLC was delayed for a whole year, right? And you would think that's kind of excessive for downloadable content. So I can believe something went wrong there. But I enjoyed it regardless. I wasn't a big fan of End of Zoe. I felt like Zoe should have been able to be a playable character in her own DLC. And I didn't appreciate the overt retcon with Jack having a brother that was never mentioned or photographed at all. And the main game of RE7 that felt like, come on, right? Not that it's the only game to do it. Uncharted 4 did that as well with Nate randomly having a brother after 3 games, including the 3rd game being all about his history where a brother was never mentioned. Naughty Dog are supposed to be like, you know, one of the best companies in gaming as far as storytelling goes, so everybody apparently just doesn't care and does this sort of thing, and, you know, it bothers me more, I guess, as somebody who likes to write and read, but yeah, you know, I enjoyed the DLC for 7. I just thought that some of it could have been done better, especially End of Zoe. Did not care at all, really, about Rose's conclusion in RE8, just mainly because, not that I had no interest in, like, seeing what they would do with her, like, you know, the follow-up for her, but more so just the direction they took with it, and, again, the idea of Rose being the special child who has powers, just like Ethan and everything, is just something I want to see less of in Resident Evil. I really would like to return to the simplicity of being a vulnerable character. This game did that, and I really liked that. I want some DLC for this game that hopefully gives us some answers about the other characters that didn't show up, and some of the questions that they didn't answer, like Xeno, whatever that post-credit stinger was. I don't know, some sort of follow-up on Alyssa, because, God, she really did just get hatcheted and that was it. Had to be a win-win for them. Leon and Grace die, cover-up stays, Leon and Grace win, plausible deniability, and a chance to get something out of it. Yeah. I also want more information on the Hound Wolf Squad, right? Because we know that Chris defected from the BSAA, so I wonder if they're like a militia group, or like a, what do you call it? Like a group of mercenaries? Is that how they're officially classified? I really do wonder. But let's get off the screen and see what else we have here. Unlocked insanity mode. Oh boy. Behind the scenes video, Grace's report. Special content, models, concept art. Following costumes and weapon skin were added. Jacket, Leon jacket, Grace tactical light for the alligator snapper. You can change costumes in the bonus settings. Alright. Alright, let's take a look at what's here. Trusted companion charm. Freya's needle, Grace, a lightweight machine pistol that can be carried in one hand. Ooh, so we got some weapons for Grace as well. Kotetsu, Grace, it may look like a simple makeshift knife, but it's an incredibly well-made blade that will never break. Ghost Grudge, Leon, look at this. There's a whole bunch of guns here. Wow. The Redemption, a break-action single-shot pistol. This custom version of a mid-20th century model delivers immense firepower, uses rifle ammo. The Clatter Carbine for Leon. An assault rifle fitted with a large suppressor, has a moderate rate of fire, but each shot packs a punch. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. Infinite ink ribbon. Advanced tuning. Infinite ammo for guns. All the kind of usual things I would expect. FBI attire. Ooh. RPD uniform for Leon. That was the only costume that was missing from RE4 Remake. I'm glad that they gave it to him here. I will go into detail about these later. I kind of figured you would grace us with some information. Okay, let's start going by and buying some concept art. Get Grace. Let's get Leon, Alyssa, Sherry, Victor, definitely Xeno. I want to see, yeah, Raccoon City, Titan Spinner Battle, East Raccoon. Want to get all of them. I'm just trying to be selective in case I accidentally buy too much. Waste all my points here. Alright, hold on, we'll go back to that. Let's see, can we buy any models? Leon. Leon's wheels, his sick Porsche. I'm sorry, I'm back. Welcome back, Sally. We all know you'll be playing it again, so you'll get more points. Yeah, definitely. Hooded man. So this really just ended up being some random goon. Sherry. Did you read Grace's report yet? No, I'm gonna read it now. Buying some of these things here. The Commander. Hound Wolf Squad. Alright, so we've got plenty of those. Let's go to Grace's report. 60 pages. Strap in, everybody. Here we go. Grace's report. The truth behind Raccoon City. Introduction. In 1998, Raccoon City was devastated by a massive outbreak caused by a viral leak from the pharmaceutical giant Umbrella. The United States government responded by launching a missile strike to wipe out the infected and erected a blockade to seal off the city. In 2004, following a court trial, the Umbrella Corporation declared bankruptcy. A complete account of the events was never released. However, in October of 2026, it was discovered that the city had been used as a hub for the production and trafficking of bioweapons. This report reveals that the established narrative of the Raccoon City incident was falsified and elucidates newly discovered truths surrounding the incident. 1968. To properly understand the truth, we must first go back to the beginning of it all. In 1968, Oswald E. Spencer, James Marcus, and Edward Ashford founded the Umbrella Corporation. Having witnessed the horrors of the Second World War and the dread of the Cold War, Spencer felt a sense of despair at watching the world repeat the same mistakes. He felt it was his duty to bring about a change to humanity. As stated in court records following the Raccoon City incident, his ultimate goal was to bring about the viral evolution of the human race. Thus, he relentlessly pursued virus research through illegal and inhumane means. This fact remains unchanged. 1970s. From the very beginning of Umbrella, the company faced rapid change and intense internal strife. Most notably, the sharp ideological divide between Spencer and Marcus. According to court records, this conflict was cited as a primary factor leading to the unusual developments which followed. In 1978, James Marcus developed the T-virus, which would go on to become the cause of the subsequent outbreak. 1980s. This is a crucial period for understanding the basis of what caused the incident and the truth behind the entire case. Spencer's influence in ARC's establishment. Spencer used internal politics to have Marcus demoted, absorbing the T-virus research into a facility under his own control. From then on, Umbrella began to actively research and develop bioweapons under Spencer's leadership. The underground facility known as ARC, which was discovered during recent events, originally served as the administrative center of Umbrella's research. Several documents outlining Spencer's plan for ARC have also been discovered. Excerpt from confiscated records, Long-Term Strategic Review, 1980, April 22nd. ARC-centric integrated research roadmap. Step 1. Concentrated investment into Wesker's plan and the T-virus. Step 2. Establishment of ARC as a central command center. Step 3. Development of ELPIS. Step 4. Memory transfer and forced evolution. This is the first recorded instance of the significant keyword ELPIS. The connections involvement. Okay, now this I'm really curious about because Village told us that the head of the connections is Brandon Bailey, who was James Marcus's understudy, and a man that Wesker tried to have wiped out, as we read in RE5. And supposedly he succeeded, but as we found out in Village, per Zoe's research, that was not correct. So, let's find out what happened. Following documents regarding Marcus's involvement were also discovered. Excerpt from confiscated records, receipt of donation, 1986. Okay. Thought that was... Okay, so 0138. Recipient, James Marcus. Sender, F Foundation. Amount. Holy... 38th of January. That's a long January. This document shows a suspicious flow of funds being channeled to Marcus. Past FBI investigations revealed that the source of the funds, the F Foundation, which is one of the puppet organizations of the Connections, the F Foundation no longer exists. So Brandon Bailey? Hold on. The Connections is a criminal organization that various government agencies have been sounding the alarm against for years. This illicit group is at the heart of it all. Evidence suggests the Connections sought involvement with Umbrella Central Operations. Additional documents belonging to the protege of Marcus, Brandon Bailey, have been uncovered. Excerpt from confiscated records, Telegraph Log 1988. Sender, Brandon Bailey, recipient F Foundation. Preparations are complete. I think it's time they make contact with me directly, don't you? I await a response. This indicates that Bailey took over correspondence with the Connections, succeeding Marcus. Bailey was rumored to be the founder of the Connections, but he may have only been a small cog in the larger machine, so that's definitely a retcon, but nothing new with Capcom. We now believe the Connections has had deep roots in the criminal underworld since before the 1980s. Much about the Connections remains unknown. Which, let's face it, that's code for we haven't written that part yet, stop asking. Fair enough, Capcom. Spencer's Purge. In order for Spencer to obtain complete control over Umbrella, he used force to deal with any internal opposition and influential adversaries. A list of these individuals, seemingly prepared by an associate of Spencer's, was recently discovered. Excerpt from Confiscated Records Reevaluation List. Following the CEO's reevaluation protocol, measures will be taken against these individuals: Cheryl Moore, Michael Kramer, James Marcus, and somebody that was omitted. I wonder. 1990s. During this period, Umbrella continued to grow and expand through ties with the government. The organization became so large that Spencer could no longer fully control it. Numerous accidents plagued Umbrella facilities around the world as a result of poor management. Furthermore, information was being leaked to rival organizations and the Connections due to moles who had infiltrated the company. Yet despite the circumstances, Spencer was able to thoroughly protect and complete his research at ARC. The research, Elpis. While most records regarding Elpis were lost with the destruction of ARC, a precious few remain. Excerpt from Confiscated Records, Spencer's Message, 1990-something. Tricell, HCF, the family and Umbrella. Elpis shall bring it all to an end. Now this is interesting, because we're supposed to believe that Spencer was feeling some sort of guilt or whatever, but at the same time, he had no problem visiting orphanages and, whatever. Let me keep reading. Also interesting that the family is brought up here. They're really trying to kind of throw in everything we've encountered so far in the series. The only information leaked about Elpis was that it had the potential to upset the military balance of the entire world. However, a strictly managed password known only to Spencer was needed to access it. Sorry, I was dealing with unruly customers. Is it Commander Hunk? We're not entirely sure yet. I'm still leaning on the side of yes, but we're reading Grace's report, which is shedding a little bit of light on what's going on here. What is Elpis? Elpis is a powerful antiviral drug. However, this was unknown to those who sought it. The Connections and other black market groups mistakenly thought it to be a powerful bioweapon with the potential to control human minds. This confusion likely stemmed from the fierce competition surrounding bioweapon development. It was common knowledge that Spencer, the developer of Elpis, aimed for the evolution and control of humanity through viral technology. Completion of Elpis. Based on data taken from the confiscated records and changes in Spencer's behavior, we believe Elpis was completed around the mid-1990s. After this period, the records show a marked decrease in the number of public statements from Spencer. A similar decrease in activity was also observed at the Raccoon City orphanage. Disturbingly, it is suspected that the children at the orphanage had long been used for Umbrella experimentation. While Spencer frequently visited the orphanage, records indicate he stopped in the 1990s. Furthermore, the orphanage was under the research jurisdiction of William Birkin in the late 90s. Birkin turned against Spencer, ultimately leading to the leak of the T-virus. 1998 Raccoon City incident. The T-virus leaked from the Umbrella research facility in Raccoon City, causing an unprecedented outbreak. In response, the government decided to launch a missile strike on the city, under the pretense of containing the spread. However, this is where we have been misled. The missile strike was not launched to prevent the spread of infection. A plan is formed to disrupt the relationship between the government and Umbrella and shift the blame for all illegal activities onto Spencer. Found records indicate that the connections lobbied for the missile strike. Excerpts from confiscated records, access log, first assembly minutes. ARC has been secured. Commence a missile strike. The blame will fall solely on Spencer. With this, Umbrella will be dismantled and will seize their assets. Their goal was the acquisition of Umbrella assets, particularly the thing they believed would disrupt the world's military balance, Elpis. Due to Bailey's involvement, the connections were aware of Umbrella's inner workings prior to the Raccoon City incident. This set them up to swiftly secure ARC before instructing the government to carry out the missile strike. This is interesting because, despite the litany of retcons that are kind of being outlined here, this actually does make a lot of sense, because if you know anything about Brandon Bailey, he was not pleased with Umbrella. And I think following Marcus's assassination, the idea of him being a mole and trying to fuck over Umbrella as much as he possibly can actually does make a lot of sense. He respected James Marcus a lot as his mentor, and when he found out that he had died, he fell into a depressive episode. So the idea now that he, I guess, had an inkling that it was orchestrated by Spencer. Yeah, I could see him being pissed enough to start leaking information and such. After the Raccoon City incident, the Umbrella trials. As is well known, trials were held after the events of the Raccoon City incident. Testimony from Raccoon City survivors, along with evidence submitted by the Global Pharmaceutical Consortium, demonstrated the scope of Umbrella's nefarious activities. Evidence against Spencer was presented at the trials by his subordinate, Albert Wesker. It is now evident that Wesker was linked to Tricell, which in turn had strong ties to the connections. Therefore, it is highly likely there was pressure from the government and the connections during the trials. In 2004, following the outcome of the trials, Umbrella was forced into bankruptcy. Just as the connections and the government intended, Oswald Lee Spencer was held accountable as CEO and he disappeared from the public eye. Acquisition of ARC. The connections and the government seized ARC during the Raccoon City incident. Therefore, ARC served as a base for the research, development, and distribution of bioweapons. Documents believed to be transaction lists have also been seized. These list Umbrella's competitors along with organizations that were previously found guilty of illegal activity. Unfortunately, most evidence was lost with the collapse of ARC. Recovery efforts continue, but success is unlikely. Proliferation of bioterrorism. Following the Raccoon City incident, weaponized viruses developed by Umbrella were leaked. Subsequently, instances of bioterrorism utilizing this technology spread around the globe. In 2013, President Adam Benford was assassinated in a bioterrorist attack. Intelligence agencies report that the president wished to reveal the full truth of the Raccoon City incident. It is possible that President Benford was privy to these facts revealed in this report. Spencer's final years. Remaining records about Spencer after the dissolution of Umbrella are scarce, but a new source of information has recently come to light, an interview conducted by Alyssa Ashcroft. Despite being responsible for countless atrocities, Spencer showed some signs of remorse in this interview. Having lost everything, he sought atonement. While Elpis is a powerful instrument that can render viral weapons inert, it also has a potential as a panacea to be used for good. It's possible that Spencer's true motivations behind Elpis were peace and redemption. While he remained obsessed with the evolution of humanity throughout his later years, most testimonies describe him as nothing but a senile old man. Spencer died in 2006 at his secluded estate. I mean, he did more than die. He got his fucking chest ripped open by Albert, but, you know, semantics. His true intentions behind developing Elpis will forever remain unknown. For those unsubbed, we got an ad break starting in 5 seconds. Conclusion. As we can see from the records, the Umbrella Corporation's liquidation was intentionally orchestrated by the connections and the US government. Furthermore, they were involved in the illegal development and trafficking of bioweapons in Raccoon City. The extent to which past and present governments were involved requires further investigation. Much about the connections remains shrouded in mystery, and most records of their involvement were destroyed alongside ARC. Countless lives have been lost. As government officials, we have a duty to pursue the truth. If anything, finding it will finally offer some closure to everyone who fell victim to these heinous actions. FBI intelligence analyst, Grace Ashcroft. Very interesting. Let's check out that, that model for the commander. Oops. Retconning. Yeah, I have some thoughts about that. I'll talk a little bit about it before I, end stream. What is that on his back? This report will never see the light of day. Probably not. Well, here we go. This is our guy. I think it's him, personally. Given his reputation, even though he would have been an older man by now, Hunk doesn't seem like the type of guy, in my opinion, that could have ever just retired. And given the fact that he had a good reputation and was, you know, always loyal to the mission and, what do you call it? You know, he was so skilled that he never died no matter what and, had a dedication to secrecy. Yeah, I could see them still keeping him around. Individual first aid kit. Got it, got it. So who knows? Maybe he used that to patch himself up after Leon walked out of the room. Perhaps. Also, he was sick. Maybe he did want a cure for his sickness. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, he had it as well, so you never know. The Hound Wolf Squad. I assume we'll be seeing a lot more of these people in future games. I mean, it's interesting. They're cool, but you know, it would be nice to know more about them. And we know that they because of the DLC in 8, we know that they're around for yeah, well into the future, so I'm sure that we'll see more of these guys. Yeah, they really offered no information on this guy. None at all. I think, personally, I think this is a dude that was the head of Blue Umbrella. Because everything fits with how he was described in Umbrella Corps. It's basically, as Victor said, a Wesker wannabe. It makes sense that this is him. And that's the guy. Okay, that's the weapon that you can use now as Leon. That he was freaking taking heads off with. I think the DLC will probably be about Chris and maybe shedding some light on Claire, on if Claire, Rebecca, and Barry are sick. I hope so. I would honestly hope that it would star someone other than Chris, just mainly because Chris has had so many chances. I would hope it would be someone else, but I guess Chris does make the most sense given that ending now. I think this guy's a clone of Wesker and nothing else. I don't think so. Mainly just because, one, he's got RCS, right? So that means he had to have been there during Raccoon City. I feel like this guy is probably that dude from Umbrella Corps. I mean, I could be wrong. He may well just be a clone. And if that's the case, I'll laugh. But I feel like this guy was someone who was really obsessed with him and wanting to be him for whatever reason. They made a point to showcase some differences with the smoking, which we know Wesker didn't do, so. One thing that I'm kind of disappointed that they did not get into was, Alex. I was convinced from the beginning of when this game was revealed that Alex was going to be the main villain in this game. Because I've long had the theory that Natalia, you know, the older Natalia now, would have grown up and started to work at Blue Umbrella. And no, she didn't show up. So she's still somewhere out there. Well, if the clone was made from Wesker, he already has powers. The sickness would have also been dormant on him. That's true. That is true. I guess I'm just in a state of not wanting to, oh, thank you for the hydrate and the posture check. Let me take a sip first. Thank you. But, I guess I'm in a state of not wanting to believe that because there are certain roads you really don't want to go down when it comes to, storytelling. Thank you for the stretch. That actually does feel good on my back. Can't forget the stretch. Yeah, thank you. Okay. There's certain roads you don't want to go down when it comes to writing, in my opinion, right? I said it before, I don't consider myself to be a, you know, don't listen to me. It's not like I'm a super successful writer or anything, you know, far from it, so what do I know? But there's kind of a, you know, it's most commonly referred to as jumping the shark, and it is indeed true. Oh, the little design on her collar. Where you don't want to go past a certain point when you're telling a story with certain things, because then it opens too many doors, and then you start inviting so many questions as to why this, that, and the other, you know, didn't manifest earlier, or why isn't it being used now, so on and so forth. And cloning is one of those things where, first of all, I just have a distaste for it because of the live-action movies with Alice and everything. I really don't think we need to invoke that. And two, it just feels like if they could clone a person perfectly, then, like, then doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of everything that Spencer was trying to do in the first place, right? At least when he was obsessed with his health, right, and living, right? At some point, as we saw, he had studied transferring consciousness through blood. If he could just make a clone, yes, I understand the idea that, you know, you wouldn't want to die yourself. Like, yes, you would have a perfect clone of yourself, but at the same time, you know, you would have the same situation that Alex ran into in Revelations 2, where at the last minute when she committed suicide, you know, she was afraid because she realized she was about to stop existing as an individual. Yes, there would be another version of her that would come alive through, that would come alive through Natalia, sure. But that version of Alex, the original, her own consciousness, her life would come to an end, right? So, yeah, like invoking cloning just feels like it would open up too many cans of worms. It would also make the plot of Revelations 2 and Spencer's whole obsession with finding a way to carry on kind of pointless. Yeah, but to have Wesker's powers, he would need to infect himself with the T-virus, and he's like 1 in a million chance to have symbiosis with it. Way too slim of a chance for an admirer. That's also a good point. That is also a good point. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know. That is really weird. It is very, very strange. Because even if, again, you could make a clone, a perfect clone of him with his powers and such, why not make more? Why just one, right? I mean, you saw what he did to those BSAA guys. You want to talk about a perfect bioweapon? He would be one. All they'd have to do is figure out a way to bring him under their control. So, you know, what was the deal with that? But at the same time, you also have to remember there are other ways to get it to happen, because Natalia also has Wesker's powers. We see that in the bad ending of Revelations 2. the T Phobos virus recreated that same ability. You just had to have somebody who could bond with it without showing fear. So in the bad ending of Revelations 2, if you fail to save Moira during the final boss battle, Barry won't be able to save Natalia, and it seems like she dies, but instead her eyes start to glow like Wesker and she rips Alex apart with her bare hands. So we know, no matter what the ending, Natalia has Wesker's abilities. So that could be an explanation as well, right? This may be a Alex thing too, that this dude somehow managed to get Wesker's powers. Maybe she, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities here. There's a lot of weird possibilities for how this guy got his abilities. All this talk of cloning, I want Resident Evil, not Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, it's, this game did a lot of things I liked with the story. I'll say this. I'm concerned about some of the stuff they did here, but I'm not outright negative towards it like I was with Village, right? So, that's the good thing. I just feel like they need to be very careful. What I feel this series needs is a consistent writer. That is what happened back in, the golden age of Resident Evil. They had, if I'm not mistaken, I believe his name was Noboru Sugimura. I believe that's what his name was. And he was from the company Flagship. He was a writer who worked on films, and I think he had also written books. And he became the consistent, writer for the series. And I'm not saying that he didn't make some mistakes too, because I do feel like his work on RE0 definitely left a lot to be desired. That game has a lot of narrative issues that a remake could easily solve. But for the most part, I feel he did a fantastic job of keeping everything consistent. But ever since he passed away, and in the early 2000s, and they shifted to just kind of having different writers for each game, you can tell the consistency within the series has fallen apart. There are certain things that I'm always impressed that they were able to maintain as far as consistency goes, but it always feels like it's like one step forward, 5 steps back. There will be something that's like, wow, they remembered that and they brought that in, and but then there will be other things that they just kind of trample all over. And I hate to be one of those people. I don't want to be one of those people. Like, I'm not personally like a Star Wars fan, but I know there's always like complaints about Star Wars fans being really vocal and annoying about every little thing in the canon or whatever, and I don't want to be one of those people. I just love Resident Evil a lot, and I hate when people mock the series as having like bad writing and stuff. Like, you'll often see, for whatever reason, this series brings out the, I'll just call them the greatly confused, that make so many erroneous statements about this series. Like, they don't get it, and it confuses me because it could be very simple things. Like, even watching reactions for this game when the trailers were dropping, they would show shots of the Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center, and you get people who are like, is that the mansion from the first game? And it's like, did you just not pay attention when that thing blew up into a million little pieces? Or the fact that it looked nothing like it? And it was a common thing that people were saying too. And also a lot of people who were like, Victor Spencer, and it's like, look, I know that they have, Resident Evil is notorious for bringing people back from the dead, but I don't think anybody's come back from the dead in perfect condition, normally as monsters. And I know that Victor looked all fucked up, to be fair, but he didn't look anything like Spencer, right? From the back. But Spencer was not 1,000,000 feet tall. We'll put it that way. It brings out strange opinions and views of things. Oh boy, here we go. With OBS dropping frames. I'm glad that it did not do this when I was actually playing the game, but now it's starting to mess up a little bit, which is fine because I'm about to be close to ending stream anyway. But yeah, to complete my point, basically, I really like the story in this franchise. It has been a huge inspiration for me as a creative, and you know, it means a lot to me for a lot of reasons. I really love this franchise. I mean, to be fair, yeah, this franchise, even right now, has brought me closer with all of you. You know, if I wasn't playing these things on stream right now, I wouldn't have met a lot of you. So, yeah, it means a lot to me. So I want this series to continue to do well as long as it possibly can. And I fear the day that, you know, they write themselves into such a corner that they have to reboot and lose all the lore. I really don't want that to happen. I think that's what makes Resident Evil special. Every other franchise out there has rebooted and lost everything about it, you know? The fact that we still have something that's been going this long is unique. You know, not even just in the video game space, but even in film and television and stuff. You know, I don't want it to lose that. I love Resident Evil 2 Purple. I will get to the other comments in chat because I'm actually going to use that as a springboard to bring up something else, so I didn't ignore that. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, you know, I really feel like this series needs a consistent writer. I think that would help a lot in regards to keeping the story on track. But from my understanding, the way that the teams operate now, I don't think that's going to happen. It's pretty much every person that takes over does their own thing. And I'm not a fan of that, but, you know, it is what it is. I don't know what comes next for the series. There is again, depending on how much you take or leave leakers, there's a dude that keeps claiming that, you know, and he has gotten stuff right before, but to him, supposedly, he's heard that the Resident Evil team wanted to kind of make this game as a way of addressing things that have been long unaddressed in the series to finally put an end to them, so that the series can move on to other things beyond Umbrella and Raccoon City, and that they had other ideas that they wanted to do, like, for example, like the idea of making a medieval Resident Evil or something like that. And some of these things worry me so greatly, because I feel like every time they get so far away from what made Resident Evil what it is, they just start veering into this really dumb territory that does not fit. Like, one of the reasons why I really have issues with Village is because even though they kind of try to finagle it into being like, oh, it's science-based, it's very flimsy, and it all just comes across as like supernatural creatures. And, you know, I love horror, right? I'm obsessed with horror. Horror has enough, you know, supernatural stories. I'm not even saying that like I dislike them or whatever, but, you know, Resident Evil stands out because it is one of the only horror franchises, not even just in terms of video games, but in general, that has, you know, all kinds of incredible creatures and great designs and stuff, and does try to, you know, do a decent job of rooting it in some form of reality. Obviously, it's all, you know, fictional pseudoscience, right? And yeah, that may be the case. Of course, you know, it may be ridiculous to think that a single virus could create a zombie as well as something like a licker, right? Or a giant fucking worm or whatever. But it's fiction. I don't need it to be perfect. I just need it to be able to be good enough for me to suspend my disbelief, right? And that's what Resident Evil does. I don't want it to turn into something where now they want to have, you know, ghosts or, I don't know, demons from hell or some other kind of stuff, right? Yeah, I always say that if Village was called Village of Shadows, it would be an awesome game, but it sucks as a Resident Evil. Yeah, exactly, right? I agree with that. I feel like if they would take more chances in doing that, you could have spin-offs and things like that, right? I don't see why they couldn't, right? Dead Rising is able to coexist as a zombie series without stepping on what Resident Evil is. Dino Crisis, before they just decided they don't care about it anymore, was able to coexist as a Resident Evil style survival horror game, just, you know, not involving zombies. There's no reason they can't do that. None at all. But sadly, at the end of the day, it comes down to how expensive video games are to make and the risk involved. So it's, you cushion the blow by throwing Resident Evil on the title, and you don't want to take that risk of not including it. I get it. I hate it, but I get it. But if you can make a game like Pragmata, which also looks good, and I want to play the demo for that, and take a risk with that, I don't see any reason why you couldn't make another horror game, you know? Bring back Dino Crisis, maybe take another chance on Haunting Ground, you know? Do something with the Clock Tower IP that you're just sitting on. They have options, or they could do something completely new. There's no reason why every horror thing they do has to be Resident Evil, you know? They still have the Onimusha franchise. Yeah, they're making a new one in that, right? We'll see how that does. And, you know, I remember they also did an Armor vs. Dinosaur game. Yeah, that one pissed me off because they even had a design that was, like, very reminiscent of Regina, but they didn't just make it Dino Crisis. On the one hand, I'm glad they did not turn what that game was into Dino Crisis. But on the other hand, it's like, can we please have Dino Crisis back? The idea of a Dino Crisis in the RE engine is just... the thought of it, right? I really would like to see them do that. A Dino Crisis remake would be so fucking awesome. Yes. Yeah, absolutely, because they honestly could do so much with it. They could take so many creative liberties if they wanted to. Right? There's a lot of room there. I felt personally that, you know, RE6 was not a great Resident Evil game. It had a lot of problems. But one thing that most people agree upon is pretty great about that game is the combat and, like, the movement. Right? Yeah, the ability to, like, slide and do all that fun stuff. That would have worked well in an action horror game about dinosaurs. Didn't have to be Resident Evil, you know? I think they found the perfect formula for what modern Resident Evil should be in the RE2 remake. I think this game is right after it, because yes, it had a lot of action, but I feel like Leon's segments in this game were the perfect follow-up to Resident Evil 4. This is how, if they want to make another action game, it should be, not Village. Village, to me, was a huge step in the wrong direction. Village felt like a poor imitation of RE4, whereas this game, in my opinion, felt like the proper step up. I think this is like RE6, but well done. Yeah, definitely, especially with what they did with some of the zombies. Like, you could tell they took inspiration from it, like the ones with the guns and all that stuff, but it felt less goofy, and it still maintained a sense of horror and tension, even though you had zombies doing things like, you know, picking up objects or whatever, mainly just because of the way it was all presented. They did a much better job of that. I'm sad to say I learned a bit of Japanese history because of Onimusha. There's nothing sad about that at all. I do think that a lot of times games can be a lot more educational than people realize. Definitely, definitely something that's underestimated about certain games. But yeah, I guess to wrap up this little segment of me yapping about everything, but I will complain that I miss more creatures like some hunters, the big moth, or I don't know, way too many zombies. I'm getting a bit tired of lickers. Yeah, I feel like they had a lot more room to add in more enemies, and I feel like that's been a problem for this series since it moved to the RE engine, because I know that it's very costly for them to use the photogrammetry to add in faces and all sorts of things, even outfits, which is a massive drawback. But since they already had the movements and stuff rigged from the RE3 remake, yeah, I feel like they could have thrown in some hunters. But, you know, again, if they do DLC, who knows? Maybe maybe we are speaking too soon. We'll see. But, yeah, I think right now my thoughts are, I really enjoyed this game. I liked it a lot. It did pretty much everything I wanted it to do. I think that for me, like, it's hard for me. I actually mentioned this in the interview I did with Eric Loy. But because I write, and again, I always like to stress this, because I do think that, you know, when people are involved in a certain art, and then they kind of give their 2 cents, it comes off as kind of pompous, like, you think you can do better. I want to make it clear. I'm not saying I could do any better. I'm not saying I'm a better writer. Not at all. But I can't help but rewrite things in my mind as I'm experiencing them. And there's so many little things that, as a Resident Evil fan, I was thinking would have been perfect to throw in at certain points that I'm kind of upset that they didn't do. But nothing that ruined the experience. Definitely not like, you know, Village, where, you know, the entire time I'm just thinking, why didn't we just make the castle the entire game, you know, and have a classic Resident Evil style experience in this very unfamiliar territory where you could make things really weird and unique. You know, I talked about that a few streams ago. Nothing like that. Just a few things that I think would have been really fun to experience as a fan that this setting offered, because we're probably never coming back here again. You know what I mean? So I would have wanted them to do those things, but, you know, it's okay. I'm still very satisfied with the game we got. I enjoyed it a lot. I will definitely be replaying it. I like it. But for the future of the series, I do hope that, as unlikely as it is, somehow... by the way, I think you can feel free dropping whenever I stream. I haven't found anything new in Insanity difficulty. Just more enemies and me getting my ass kicked like 20 times more. Okay, great. No, I'm glad. Yeah, now that I beat it, I don't mind, I don't mind hopping in to see how you're doing when you play. The only thing I haven't seen is the other ending, and I don't know, I might watch that on YouTube, because I wonder how significant that difference is. But we'll see. Yeah, I know it's unlikely, but I do hope that they have a consistent writer in the future for the series, because that's when I feel that things were at their best. And I want to see them make another mainline game that commits fully to RE2 Remake style and just run with it, because the segments with Grace were perfect. Right? I didn't really even have any issues with Leon's at all. I know I've seen some people that were saying, like, they wish that his segments weren't in it. I disagree. I think for what this game needed to be as a return to Raccoon City, it was perfect. Right? It didn't bother me. But I do think that it feels really weird that they hit the formula perfectly in the RE2 remake, and they just haven't done another game that's all that again, when people have been begging them to do it, and RE2 remake has been selling, you know, non-stop. It keeps going higher up the list on Capcom's fiscal reports and everything else. It's still selling well, right? So why not do it again? Hopefully they do that. But story-wise, I don't really know where they go from here. I can think of a few things. Again, Alex seems like low-hanging fruit, right? I think she's the next thing on the list for them to do. But if that leaker is right about how Capcom just kind of wanted to dust off their hands of the old lore and kind of move on to new stuff, I just hope that it's not new stuff in the vein of fucking Village, because if that's the case, I'm gonna be so incredibly disappointed. We don't need more of that. And I feel personally... Let me try not to launch into another rant here. This is really quickly becoming a just chatting stream. But one reason why I was personally annoyed by all of the Lady D memes was I knew from the beginning that it was going to eclipse any criticism of the game. And sure enough, when the game came out, nobody was really talking about its issues, because everybody was just talking about the big lady, and that was it. And it pissed me off, because now you see people more open to criticism of it, but they weren't criticizing it when it would have counted most, and when Capcom was actually listening to their criticism, right? And I hope they didn't take the wrong lesson from Village, that this is the direction we should go in, because I really do think they'd be surprised that if they make another Village-style game without, you know, Lady D there to soak up all of the attention and create more memes, that it's not going to go the way they think it's going to go. That's how I feel personally. I might be wrong about that, but I feel I have a decent read on this fan base. I don't think it's going to go that well. I think a lot of people overhyped Village because of the memes, and there's a lot more criticism about it now compared to how, you know, 7 and the remake of 2 have aged, and the remake of 4, right? Those games have all aged very, very well. You're not going to see a lot of people saying they didn't like those games or that they went back to it and realized they were bad. It's the remake of 3 and Village that have that reputation. And I hope that Capcom knows that, and they haven't already over-invested in, say, an RE10 that's like Village, and it's too late to change it, you know what I mean? Yeah, I was worried for Leon being there because he's the face of the series, but how the story is presented, he really needed to be there. Yeah, I agree, and I really liked that. You know, for the road that they went down, there was nobody else that would have worked better than him. I know a lot of people were mad that Jill wasn't here. They could have squeezed Jill into the story, I'm sure. But I do think Leon needed to be here. And I could honestly see Grace being Leon's kind of replacement. You know? I could see that. As the series moves forward and, you know, he gets older and the other characters get older, I can see Grace easily being Leon's, how would you say, like protege, so to speak. And I hope Grace does come back. She was a great character, and I can see an opportunity for her to go through a similar transformation that Leon went through after RE2. Like, that doesn't mean she has to be just like him with all the wisecracking and stuff, but even if she's not her biological daughter, she is Alyssa's daughter. And Alyssa was a character that was very smart-mouthed in Outbreak. So, yeah, Grace kind of taking on some of both Alyssa and Leon's, like, wisecracks and, like, smarmy attitude at times would be perfect evolution of the character, I feel. As a tactical guy, I want more Hound Wolf Squad, but I know it's at the core of RE. I'm fine with them bringing them back, honestly. I feel like that's where they have a lot of freedom to do things, right? Something that 7 kind of introduced that helps is like that idea of having like a finale, like part of the game where you really change up the gameplay. And I feel like Hound Wolf Squad would work in that sort of environment or as a DLC story. I don't really mind if we move away from horror for DLC. I think that's fine. I know some people might be more, they might be bigger purists in that regard and they have an issue with that, but I feel like when it comes to downloadable content, it's really hard to do like significant, believable horror experiences because, you know, they're not gonna really give you a full game's worth of gameplay in a DLC, right? Separate Ways kind of betrays that a little bit because it was pretty much the length of a shorter RE game, and it was very well done. But I don't really see them giving you essentially a whole nother full-length horror RE game in DLC form. So I'm fine with them dedicating that more to the action side of things, and it spices everything up. I'm fine with that, personally, and I feel like that would be a good venue for the Hound Wolf Squad to show up in the future. I would like a game with Grace and Jill not aging as main characters. Yeah, I feel like Jill has a very good, underlying story there, and this is what I mean when I say I'm like always writing things in my head as I'm experiencing them. I feel like Jill has the opportunity to be a rather tragic character, where all of the other characters will age and she'll still be doing this, and watching her friends kind of, you know, die off. It would be really sad, but I feel like that would be something very interesting for Jill to experience as a character. And I'd like to see them get into that, because Resident Evil is a very dark franchise. A lot darker than people give it credit for. This game really got into that with the child experimentation and all sorts of other things. That's always been a part of Resident Evil, but they never seemingly had the guts to show it on screen until this game. I'm glad they did. And I'm glad that they brought back the over-the-top violence, because that is, you know, what Resident Evil was from the first game. It's one of the reasons why the original Resident Evil stood out so much, you know, from other games at the time, even other contemporary horror games like Alone in the Dark, you know? yeah, I could definitely see Jill being kind of a tragic character moving forward. I can't now, she's a mom. Yeah, I know, that's not what I was expecting in the finale. That was definitely weird. I kind of thought that, Emily was just dead. So we'll see what happens with her. Once again, I will air my concerns that I hope she doesn't turn into a, I mean, they cured her, so I guess she's normal now. Yeah, I don't want another superpowered character. So far, the only squad of Chris's that has survived to date, yeah, he finally, broke the curse with the Hound Wolf squad. Yeah, that's how you know they're good. Everyone else that Chris has ever led always gets destroyed. I wouldn't mind if the mercenaries mode of this game is the Wolves team being a tactical shooter if it's just for the fun. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like, being set free in Raccoon City to just kind of, kill the zombies in fun and stylish ways would be a blast. I do hope that they add some sort of, extra mode here. I'm surprised they didn't, but I suspect we'll get some DLC for this game in some form or another, even if it's just a bonus mode. Of course, this one is not a rumor because it was validated by IGN and Video Game Chronicle and other reputable outlets. But, you know, everyone is saying Code Veronica is next, and supposedly it'll be out next year. And if that's the case, I am excited for that.